Well, another year is come and gone, and you know what that means. A top 10 list of my favorite figures of the year. My first one ever, actually, since I never did one for 2024. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thanks to all of you for getting me to 600 subscribers. It really means a lot to me. For some quick rules, some entries will have multiple figures as opposed to just one, either because they're both of equal value, or because they reach that spot as a group rather than individually. And of course, this is my personal list. There will most likely be some bias, so there's your warning. But with that out of the way, let's get into the honorable mentions. So starting off the honorable mentions, we have the Transformers Age of the Prime Armada Red Alert, and the Studio Series 86 Scrapper and Bone Crusher. All very solid figures, all really good, but I don't think they're all quite good enough to make it into the top 10. In particular, the Constructicons, I think, are a situation where if I had the full team, they would probably make the top 10. Like, individually, just as deluxes, Scrapper and Bone Crusher are good, but they're just that. They're good deluxes, they're fun deluxes, but they're not like, oh, top 10 worthy. But if I had the entire team, if I could make Devastator, I imagine they probably would be a top 10 group. You know, that would be a situation where it's like, yeah, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Something I'm probably going to repeat in the future. A little bit of foreshadowing there. As for Armada Red Alert, like, he's good. He's just really good, solid Voyager. Not much else to say. Just a solid figure all around. And now we have just an assortment of different Jack-specific Sonic figures. We've got the 5-inch Gerald and Super Shadow from Sonic 3. We have the Fang and Classic Sonic 2-pack. The pixelated 3-pack of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. 4-inch Trip, 2.5-inch Trip, and, of course, the Werehog. These are all out here for varying different reasons. For the pixel ones, there's some QC issues, and they're a little overpriced for what they are. Overpricedness is also a bit of a thing for the Fang and Classic Sonic 2-pack, or I guess multi-pack, because it came with accessories. Like, it's solid, but I think it could have been a little bit cheaper. Trip, both versions of Trip, really, they're both very solid figures. They're just very basic figures, because the 2.5-inch and 4-inch lines are very basic lines, so there's nothing actually wrong with them. I just don't think they're good enough for what they are to reach the top 10. Gerald is sort of a similar thing. Like, he's fine. He's a fine enough human character, but I wouldn't put him any higher. So then you get to Super Shadow and the Werehog. And with Super Shadow, it's like, I feel like if I really wanted to, I could have tried to squeeze them in, but honestly, it's like when I compare it to everything else that came out, it's like, I'll let it go. I'll keep him off the list, because ultimately he is just a repaint of the previous Base Shadow, the previous one that came out. So I was like, we can leave him off the list this time. And as for the Werehog, he would have probably taken like a number 10 spot. Like, he probably would have taken that spot over the figure that did take the number 10 spot. But the reason I kept him off was because, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't have a single pack release. You can only get him in that 3-pack with Soap Shoe Sonic and Super Sonic. And those QC issues that those figures had really keep me from wanting to just put the Werehog in here, because you have to take that into account in my mind. You have to take into account that you're not just buying the Werehog on his own. You have to get those two as well with it. And because of that, I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like I can justify it to myself to put him on there. Of course, this is assuming that that's the only way you can get him, because last I checked, it's the only way. If there has been a single release, somebody let me know, because I haven't seen it. I have not heard anything about it. So, hey, correct me if I'm wrong on that, and I'd greatly appreciate that. Alright, now this is one I really wasn't expecting to see on here. It's the Star Wars Vintage Collection Obi-Wan Kenobi I think it's called the Legend version, Wandering Legend. It's based off like that final scene of the show. I got this guy like on a whim while I was at an EB Games. Like I just walked in, he was on clearance, and I just decided like, yeah, whatever, I'll pick it up, I guess. And you know what? He's quite good. Like he's a pretty fun little small scale figure. Like I'm sort of like after buying him, I'm thinking to myself like, should I get like a little like vintage collection? You know, and I'm not sure if I want to do that because with Star Wars, it's a very slippery slope. Like collecting isn't already a slippery slope. Like, especially with Star Wars though, it can really balloon out of control. But I don't know. Like it has sort of won me over a little bit with this guy. So I'm trying to just think about it. But anyway, as a figure, he's very fun. He's a fun little small scale guy. Really good, but not good enough to get into the top 10. Now for some Marvel Legends honorable mentions, we've got the Ultimate Iron Man and Spider-Man Unlimited. Both solid figures, but having some either very clear issues or just minor things that are holding them back. And I think you can tell what I'm talking about in terms of those big issues. Where's the cell shading on Unlimited? I've talked about this before, in his own dedicated like mini review I did, or casual review as I call them. Like, Unlimited Spider-Man not having that cell shading really hurts him. Like, it really, really hurts him. In terms of the body they're using, the sculpt, the accessories, the articulation, that's all fine. Like, I've said it before, I would prefer a different body for him, but I can deal with this body being used. But man, that lack of cell shading is hurting this figure a lot, As for Ultimate Iron Man, it's a much more minor thing, but I just wish the articulation was a little bit stronger. It's specifically the torso area. I wish if there was a little bit more range, specifically if that lower area could actually move around and articulate. I think that would help this figure a lot because it's a great looking Iron Man. It's got a good level of like alternate hands and stuff. I wish there were blast effects, instead of just this comic thing. But, if you're collecting Marvel Legends, odds are you've got an Iron Man, so you've got some extra blast effects you could use for this guy. But yeah, just like a little bit more articulation and stuff, I think probably would have bumped this guy a few more notches in my book. Would it have been top 10 worthy in that case? Maybe not. It's hard to say. But yeah, ultimately, these two are still very, very solid figures, just not going to be in the top 10, sadly. And for a little bit more Marvel stuff, it's a bit of a weird pick here for honorable mentions, but we've got the Marvel, or I guess I should say the Lego Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse minifigure wave. This was their Chase minifigure stuff they had done in 2025. Honestly, like, this was definitely not going to be one of those things I think I could justify putting in the top 10. Partly because they're minifigures, they're very basic stuff, and I don't think, when put up against other things, they're going to get very far. And also just because the chase aspect of it, like, I wasn't sure how we should quantify that, because yes, there are ways to work around the whole nature of trying to find minifigures through blind bags, but also, like, you then have to jump through the hoops, and if you're not in the know about that thing, you could be spending way more money on these figures than you should be, so I decided I'll leave them off. But they are really good minifigures. Like, these are really nice minifigures in terms of the molds, in terms of the printing, and all the stuff you get with them. Like, they're too good for me not to mention them, right? So here they are. These are really, really good minifigures. They're also still available right now, from what I can tell, sorry. If you look around in certain, like, stores and stuff, you should still be able to find them. Really solid stuff if you're a fan of, like, Lego minifigures, but yeah, they're not making it into the top 10. And finally now, we've got the stuff that very clearly cannot be in the top 10 figures of the year for various reasons, but I still wanted to mention them because I really like them. We've got the Hololive Dino Gargura plush. We've got a couple of Uma Musume acrylics that I got at Anime Revolution 2025. And finally, we have the Hello Good Smile Mako Monkan Shoko. All of these obviously cannot be added for obvious reasons, like 2 are plush, 3 are acrylics, and 1 didn't even come out this year. But I like them. I got them all this year. They're all really good. The Gura plush has really nice fabric. It's a really good design, as is the shrimp plush. The Uma Musume acrylics are all really cute. They're all really well done. I've used them multiple times in videos. And what can I say about Mako? It's Mako. I got it on a deal. It looks really good. And now my Hello Good Smile Ryuko that you see in every single, or almost every single video I do, has a friend, you know? And I'm just happy about that. So yeah, that will conclude our honorable mentions of 2025. So now let's not waste any more time and get into the actual thing you're here to see. Let's get into the top 10 figures. Alright, so at number 10, we've got the Maximum Series Spider-Man. And look, I know. I made a fuss about this when I reviewed it, and honestly, I have not really changed my opinions about this figure back then. I still feel the same way I do, but I sort of look at it like this. In an optimal situation, you know, no QC issues or anything, this guy is barely getting to number 10. He is just edging through to the number 10 slot, right? Like, I wasn't kidding when I said that if the Werehog was a separate release, if you didn't have those QC issued other Sonics in there, I probably would have put him here over the Maximum series, because that price really hurts this release a lot. Like, ultimately, I can't ignore the quality on show. Like, this is probably the best Spider-Man in terms of, like, a technical sense that the Legends team has done. It's got the best articulation that they've done for Legends Spider-Man. It's coming with all of these accessories. Like, it is a very good Spider-Man, but it's still got the Marvel Legends QC issues, which, you know, in one hand would not necessarily be bad if it was priced like a typical Marvel Legends, or at least above a typical Marvel Legends. But this is, like, depending on where you live, this is nearly like double, triple the price. And when you're getting to that level, you're reaching the import prices, and those sort of QC issues just don't fly anymore, right? Some of these issues, some of the ways that they handle a Legends figure just don't fly the higher in price you get. So, like, as an overall quality, I will acknowledge that the Marvel Legends Maximum Spider-Man is a good figure. Like, it is a good figure. But the QC issues and the absurdly high price are weighing it down quite a bit. Hence, I am keeping it at number 10. It is good, but it is not good enough to get anywhere further than this point. So, yeah. That's all I gotta say. And at number 9, we have the Studio Series 86 Megatron. Overall, really solid figure, really good figure, but some notable stuff that just holds it back for me from putting it any higher than number 9, and you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the tank mode. Like, the tank mode is the thing that I think holds this figure back from being higher, because this, you know, in every other area except for accessories, but accessories are not the be-all end-all of this. Like, in terms of the transformation, in terms of the robot mode and what it can do, this is absolutely fantastic. Like, this is such a good job of being a G1 Megatron. Like, this, I think, is a fair argument to be the G1 Megatron for pretty much most people for their Transformers collection. But I just wish that tank mode was a little bit better. If that tank mode was a bit better, I would probably rate this decently higher. But as it stands, it is in here at number 9. A very, very good Transformer, but just held back by a fairly poor alt mode. And at number 8, we have Dr. Wu. Just in general, like, I couldn't really pick any one figure or any one, like, 2-pack to pick to be in this category, so I just grabbed a bunch of assortment figures that have released in 2025. I don't even think this is all of them, and I just put him here because I love the Doctor Wu stuff. I love the Doctor Wu stuff so much. It is such great little Micromaster fun. I've kind of just gone a little all in, if I'm being honest. Like, I think I've pre-ordered like most of the stuff they've already announced that I wanted, and if I haven't, it's just because I haven't gotten around to it yet. Like, these are just like, for any small scale fan, like, I would recommend getting these guys. Just pick any one. Just pick one. Just give it a shot. Like, these are such fun Micromaster Transformers. Out of this pile here, by the way, like, if I had to pick just one set out of the ones I have on screen to pick, just to have in the Century, it would either be the Bumblebee and Cyclonus 2-pack or the Cliffjumper Shockwave 2-packs. I think of those, of the ones that have come out this year, those two packs are probably the best. Maybe Megatron, I'm not sure, but like, those ones I think are probably the best if I had to pick. If I really felt like just boiling it down to like just like one of them, it would be one of those two. But I felt like all of these figures are so close in quality that I would just put them all together. So yeah, number 8 is just the Doctor Wu, most of the Doctor Wu line that released in this year. Just really, really great Micromaster scale Transformers. And at number 7, we have the Jakks Pacific Sonic X DC 5-inch line. And you know, it is basically for all the same reasons I was praising the Sonic 3 movie tie-in figures back in 2024. You know, they're amazing sculpts, they're amazing articulation, paint's pretty good, outside of maybe a little bit of QC problems here and there. Like, just overall, these guys are fantastic figures for the price they're at. You know, like, these are like $20 to $22 Canadian, and you really can't go wrong at this price point. You know, if you haven't gotten these guys and you're a Sonic fan, I would say pick them up. I don't think you lose anything from getting them. They are just fantastic figures, and I really hope in the future that the articulation scheme these guys have are sort of brought into the 4-inch line. I believe we're seeing this a little bit with Tangle. I wish I could say that from first-hand experience, but I cannot find Tangle at any store I check. But from what I've seen, like, yeah, they're starting to add more articulation to the 4-inch line, and I hope at some point the articulation scheme we're seeing here with these guys is brought over to that line, because this is just fantastic, fantastic figures. And at number 6, we have the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Daima Goku and Vegeta. You know, it's funny, when those new Goku and Vegeta bodies were announced and we started seeing, like, you know, solicitation photos and they went up for pre-order, my first thought was, yeah, those guys look really, really good. They look like a great improvement, but I don't really know if I need them because I've got these two. Like, yeah, there's these brand new figures and they all look really good, and I'll probably get like at least one of them, like the new Super Saiyan Goku they first announced. I will probably get that at some point because it looks a lot better than the previous Super Saiyan Goku. But like, as far as base Goku and base Vegeta go, I'm kind of good with these guys. Like, these two just do exactly what I want them to do, right? They're just very nice looking versions. I love the colors on them. I love the faceplates on them. The articulation is still very good. Maybe it's lacking compared to the new ones, but it's still very, very nice articulation. And I just don't feel the need to like suddenly swap them out for these shiny new ones. Like, these guys are still very good figures and very much worth picking up if you haven't. If you're a Daima fan and you haven't gotten around to getting these guys, I would still say they're worth picking up. And even if you're not a Daima fan, like, I still think these are a good Goku and Vegeta to get. You know, they may not be the shiny new thing, but these are still really, really good SH Figuarts. They sort of represent to me the sort of baseline of what we should expect from the SH Figuarts line, and that's what landed them in the number 6 spot. And at number 5, in a spot that maybe some people will be surprised at, maybe you're expecting it a bit higher, maybe you're even expecting it lower, but at number 5, regardless, it is the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Sentinel. And this one, I've gone back and forth on this one quite a bit. You know, like, when I first got him, like, I was ecstatic, obviously. When he was first announced, I was very interested, obviously. otherwise I wouldn't have him. Because it is like this big, giant sort of centerpiece display figure, this really like imposing Sentinel, a good alternative, to make up for the people who weren't able to get the HasLab, helped by the fact that it is a lot smaller than the HasLab, so it's easier to handle and store and all these other things. And when I got him, I'm like, man, this is so cool. He's got articulated fingers, and look how big he is compared to everybody else. And, then you let the hype die down and you sort of start thinking about it more. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, this guy is really, really, really good. Right? He comes with these alternate faceplates. He's got these blast effects and what have you. And it's all really good, but I couldn't help but shake this feeling of like, this guy cost, over here in Canada, it's like close to like $270, $300, I think, dollars in Canadian dollars anyway. And I couldn't help but think like, I feel like for that money, there are things that should have been a little bit better but aren't. And I was mainly thinking about it from an articulation perspective. Like in terms of the overall sculpt, I think it's fantastic. Like it captures what the show look is supposed to be, and that's good. I will say, like, I am aware of like how the neck kind of gets a bit chewed up at times if you're not careful when you're articulating it. That's not good. But like for me, it was more like, oh, there's no butterfly joints on this figure. And that kind of feels like something you would expect a figure of this scale, this size, this price to have. And I'm like, oh, that's a bit weird. I feel like that should be here. And then it's the torso and how limited it is in its articulation. Like there's not really, like, the tilt's pretty good. Obviously you get a swivel, but there's no, like, not much of a crunch. And I'm like, oh, that's a bit odd. That's a bit weird. And it was just sort of this realization, wow, okay, mumbling my words there, sorry. But it was sort of what I realized. I'm like, this is a really good figure, but it almost feels like it still feels too much like a Marvel Legends. Like, I feel like there should have been a little bit more to it in terms of its articulation to really help feel like it's worth that price point. And even in terms of, like, accessories it got, like, the accessory count is still good, but I think it also would have benefited from just having, like, a little bit more. Like, those little tentacle things, like those wire things that come out of their hands that they use to grab people. I feel like it would have benefited from having something like that, and it doesn't come with it, which is a bit of a shame. I know that this is like, I'm sweating the minute here. Like, overall, this is still a fantastic thing to get, but when you're paying this much, you should be sweating the details, right? Because it's worth that much more. You should feel like you're getting your money's worth, and I feel like, the Marvel Legends Sentinel, it's still really, really good, but I think it's just a little under that price point. I think if the articulation was just a little bit better and it just came with like a little bit of extra accessories, just those little arm thingies, those little rope tentacle thingies, I think it would be way, way more worth it. But still, overall, fantastic figure, really good job done by the Marvel Legends team, and that is why it has made the number 5 spot. All right, at number 4, we have the Hiya Toys King Ghidorah. I still haven't gotten my Godzilla from Hiya Toys yet. I really need to go talk to the shop I bought it from, or pre-ordered it from, because I'm wondering what's going on, why that's taking so long. But anyway, this guy is sort of the, I almost want to say, reverse of the Sentinel, where the Sentinel's bigger problem, was its articulation and the figure, like, maybe just needing a little bit more in some stuff just to make it better. This is almost a reversal, where the base figure is fucking amazing. Like, this King Ghidorah figure is incredible. And its weakness, and the reason it doesn't get any higher than this, is that it has no accessories. Like, that's it. There's no accessories here at all, and that is the thing that hurts the most. Because, like, when you look at it sculpt-wise, incredible. Look at it paint-wise, incredible. Articulation, oh my god, it's incredible. Like, I didn't even realize that the wings actually have, like, more articulation. Like, there's a wire in the wings so you can pose it. I didn't realize that in the original review. And that just improves this figure so much. That raises this figure so much in my eyes. right? Like, whereas the Sentinel all around was pretty good, it had like things where it lacked in certain spots. Like its articulation could have been a bit better. It could have had maybe like a little bit more in the accessories, but it wasn't that bad. In Ghidorah's case, it's just a situation of everything about the base figure is like basically a 10 out of 10, and the only thing it needs is just accessories. Like if it just, even if it was just the beam effects, if it just had beam effects, this would probably have been like number 2, honestly. Number 2, number 3, something like that. I don't think it would have been, well, would it have been number 1? I don't know. I don't know if I want to say it would have been number 1, but it would have easily hit into the top 3. I want to at least say that. But sadly it doesn't, so here it is at number 4. Hayatoy's King Ghidorah. Really, really, really good figure. It just needed those beam effects, and it could have easily been a bit higher. At number 3, we have the Super 7 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this right here, everybody, is an excellent example of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Like, individually, these turtles are all good. They're all good figures. They could do with a little bit more in accessories, but they're all good. But individually, they're not beating out, like, some of the previous stuff. Like, they're not beating out King Ghidorah, right? But that's just looking at these guys individually, as individual figures. Because when they're a group, when they're put together as a team, that is where the magic happens, right? And that is why they are taking the number 3 spot. Because as a group, as a full team of the 2003 Turtles, these guys are amazing. Like, just look at them right now. Like, they capture the look and feel of the 2003 Turtles so well. You know, they've got some very nice ranges in articulation. Accessories could be a bit better, but, you know, it's still a fairly good amount of accessories. And once you have all 4 of them together like this, like, it is hard to top that. It can be really hard to top having a full team together like this. And that is why these guys take the number 3 spot. Individually, probably wouldn't be anywhere close to this. But as a group, number 3. At number 2 is the Mafex Spider-Man 2099. A figure that probably shouldn't be surprising to see on this list because, yeah, it's a Mafex Spider-Man. The Mafex Spider-Mans have pretty much all been amazing. Like, I don't think a single one of these has really missed. Like, maybe the Scarlet Spider, and even then, the Scarlet Spider is still a really, really good figure, and this guy continues that. Like, this is the best looking one in my mind. I think it's got the best colors. It's got a great amount of accessories. The articulation is awesome. Like, this is just top to bottom a fantastic 2099 Spider-Man. But as great as he is, he was only at the number 2 spot. He was not able to take the number 1 spot because the number 1 spot goes to... Well, I did say he would be showing up in the top 10 list, and here he is at number 1. The Age of the Primes, Star Optimus Prime. Just... yeah, like, what a great toy. Like, this is a perfect modernization of the original Star Convoy. It takes everything that original toy did, brings it into the modern era with minimal to no compromises, right? And anything that could be considered like a flaw, it just doesn't matter. Like, oh, the head's on a swivel joint as opposed to a ball joint. Yeah, but it still works just fine. It still looks good. Still got all this amazing articulation. The transformation's still incredible. Oh, well, you know, you can see the thighs in the truck mode. Yeah, but the rest of the truck mode still looks absolutely baller. You know, they've taken it, they've changed the proportions so it looks so good. It rolls so well. You know, all of these different things. Like, it's just such an amazing toy. And I really can't stress this enough. Like, if you haven't got this guy, please try to get him. Like, I'm serious. If you're even slightly interested, get this guy. Get him at his original retail price. He is so worth it. He is such a good figure. And he is my number 1 figure of 2025. And so that is my entire top 10 list for 2025. Overall, a very good year for action figures and figures of a similar like. Here's hoping 2026 also has a lot of really great stuff to it. And I am also curious, like, what was your guys' top 10s? Did you even do a top 10? If you did, was it even on toys? Like, did you do a top 10 on plushies or, like, you know, CDs or whatever, games? Like, I'm curious. I'm kind of curious to see what stuff you guys have done. So leave a comment about it. You know, let me know. I want to hear about it. But with all that being said, we're at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Later.